Video parole is called to order today. Is Tuesday, March 28th, 9:35 a.m. My name is Brendan Kelsey. Along with Ms. Cheryl Knox and Mr. Alan Roche will be your panel. That proceed to the DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge. Our remote location is David Wade. Would staff and support at David Wade please introduce yourself? Staff and support.
Gary Goodwin, board. Colonel Malcolm.
Anna Ralston. Crystal Seymour. Tammy Wynn.
How's everybody, Chairman?
Okay, we're ready for our first case. Please introduce yourself, state your name and DOC number for the record.
Rufus J. Hampton III, 329245.
All right, Mr. Hampton, you heard the introductions. Will be your parole panel. We'll ask you some questions. You can respond. At the end, you can make a statement. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Rufus Hampton III, DOC number 329245. You're a second class offender. Parole eligibility date 8/1/2021. Good time date 5/20/21/72. Full term date 8/21/21/86. 190 years. Aggravated second degree battery, armed robbery, habitual offender, armed robbery. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir.
And we have Mr. Hugo Holland will speak at the appropriate time. Lakeisha Fuller, Mary King, and Monica Pollard will all speak, make brief statements at the appropriate time. Thank you for being here. Would you answer Mr. Knox's questions, please?
Good morning, Mr. Hampton.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. How old are you, sir?
Ma'am,
How old are you?
47.
How long you been in jail?
I think it's 22 years. It'll be in May, I think.
You think? Most people know.
No, I think it's 22 years. It'll be in May. I'm not sure.
Okay.
How do you have this one too?
You were previously set up for a parole hearing back in 21, I believe, and you were removed because you had gotten a write-up. Is that correct? You were taken off that docket?
Yes,
What
ma'am.
was that write-up?
It was for drug trafficking.
Okay. And what was the
cell
penalty?
Ma'am,
What was the penalty?
the penalty, I was sent to working cell block, and after the working cell block, Warden Rosso at the prison, he put me in a transition or reset program for cell block offenders. And I successfully completed that program. It actually gives you the perception of when you choose to do the wrong things, you have consequences behind them. So that program actually helps you change your perception on how you go about making decisions.
And that was, when was that? You remember when that write-up occurred?
Which one?
The one you're talking about, the drug trafficking.
October 15th, if I'm not mistaken.
21?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and then there was one October 25th, 21, 30E. What was that?
That was actually the same write-up, but the first write-up, both of them was supposed to be wrote on the 15th, but I was written up for two separate write-ups, but the cell phone I was written up first for the cell phone. So when I went to administrative segregation, they released me back to population. They came back 5 days later and charged me with the additional write-up.
You had the cell phone and the drug trafficking?
Yes, ma'am. That all happened on one day, but I wasn't written up for two write-ups on the same day. They wrote them up on actually two separate days.
How long you been at Wade?
5 months.
What are you doing at Wade? What's your job?
Presently, I don't have a job. However, I spend my time most of the time doing legal studies and studying my culinary arts material that I have.
So you're classified as a second offender, and I see your prior was 1993. You had simple robbery. You got 4 years. You were placed on probation, and you were revoked 3 separate times on that particular charge. 2002, I see you pled guilty to possession of marijuana. And even though you're only classified as a second offender, you have quite an extensive arrest history. Tell us, for this particular, the aggravated battery and armed robbery, what happened in this case? What did you do?
Actually, I have no excuse for those particular actions in this particular case. It was uncalled for, it was unjustified.
What did you do?
Actually, the guy he got pistol whipped with a pistol. He got struck.
Tell us what you did.
I must
Just
have.
walk us through the incident.
No, ma'am. We pulled up, I jumped out of the vehicle and I assaulted him.
So tell us why you did that.
Like I said earlier, Ms. Chairman, I have no justification for my actions. They were disappropriate, they were disrespectful, not only to the individual, but also to humanity as a whole. I have no excuse for it. And
Did
to
you
be
know,
honest,
Mr. Lowe?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Why did you pick him?
I don't have an excuse for that. I don't have an excuse for
You're
that.
high?
Ma'am,
Were you high?
I
Were
can't.
you on drugs?
A little, but it's still no excuse for that because
What drugs were you taking?
marijuana, but it has nothing to do with my actions. My actions were totally my responsibility. I took those
I
actions.
understand that. I get it. Tell us about your programs that you completed.
Which ones? My programs? The first program I completed was culinary arts and occupations. I got a diploma in culinary arts and occupations. After that, I completed both anger management and substance abuse. After that, I completed victim awareness and thinking for a change. And the last program I completed was the transitional reset program. However, in my own time, I was taking up paralegal studies from Stratford Institute, Career Institute. I wasn't able to fully complete it because at the time, it was a policy in place that stated that the program had to be an accredited program. So I was unable to fully complete that program. That was something that I was paying for correspondence course. And I have several certification certificates from operating the Federal Free Press that make the license plates at the tag plant at Angola.
I do see that you had an in-service award back in 2021 for an enterprise.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Warden Goodwin, is there anything you can tell us about Mr. Hampton and his short stay at your facility?
Oh, ma'am, there's nothing real I can add. Mr. Nata, his record speaks for itself. He's only been here, like I said, a few short months, 5 months. Hadn't had any write-ups since he's been here. He does have a job assignment. I'd just like to correct that. He's assigned crew 1. We just haven't taken that crew out in a little while due to staff shortages. But he does have an assigned job, and he could be working in other areas. But I just didn't want you to think he didn't have a job assigned, man. But other than that, everything else, he stands on his record, and I couldn't find everything he told you. I confirmed with the record that write-up he got in 2021 was the same incident type situation. He had the cell phone and the drugs, and they did issue 2 reports for the same incident. Looked like about 2 weeks apart. Other than that, everything is in the record, Mr. Knox.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Great. Now we have a brief statement from Ms. Lakeisha Fuller. Ms. Fuller, would you like to make a brief statement?
Yes, sir. I'm the sister of Rufus Hampton. If he's granted parole, he'll move here with me in Dallas provide as much money, funding as he needs, transportation. I have somebody lined up that's going to give him a job, and I'll get him in therapy because I feel like he does need it and it will be helpful.
All right, thank you so much.
You're
I know her, Ms. Mary King. Brief statement from Ms. King.
I'm Mary King, and I am Rufus Hampton's mother. And I just want to say that we are here to support him in any way that we can with finances. He'll be living in Texas, and we're only about 2 or 3 hours away. So whatever kind of help he needs, therapy will be there to help him and support him so that he can live the rest of his life as a productive man.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your comment. Now a brief comment from Ms. Monica Pollard.
I am the little sister of Rufus Hampton. I live in Oklahoma City, which is about 3 hours from Texas, where he'll be staying. I also am going to be providing support for him financially, helping him get a driver's license. I am heavily connected in Dallas with Metro Care that provides mental health services and for recently paroled inmates that help them look for jobs and help them get on their feet.
Ask her to just go ahead and repeat what she was
Go ahead and repeat what you said. You got cut off for just a second. Brief statement.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm the sister of Rufus Hampton. I live in Oklahoma City. I'm about 3 hours away from him. I too will be financially helping with him and helping him get into therapy. I'm connected with Metro.
Okay, go ahead.
With the Metro Care in Dallas that helps recently paroled inmates get therapy and start looking for work and just kind of getting on their own.
Okay. All right, thank you so much for your comment. We're here for Mr. Hugo Holland.
Good morning. My name's Hugo Holland. I'm a prosecutor in Bossier Webster. I started this job when Ronald Reagan was the president, so I've been in law enforcement for a long time. Let me say this to begin with. You folks on the parole board see a lot of folks that come through that were sort of predestined to wind up in prison because of some sort of huge dysfunction in the family. Well, you can see that's not the case with Mr. Hampton. His mother's here and obviously loves him, and he's got sisters here that are a support mechanism, but they're not in prison. They turned out fine. So that's certainly not an excuse for Mr. Hampton's actions. I'd also note that Mr. Hampton has problems when he's on supervision. I'm sorry, I don't remember the board members' names, but you notice that he couldn't make it on either parole or probation for the previous felony. He got revoked three times. So he doesn't do very well unless he's incarcerated. It's also Mr. Hampton's responsibility, and it's completely his fault, that he has the number of years that he had. Mr. Hampton was offered, sorry about the cat, Mr. Hampton was offered a plea and a significantly reduced sentence over what he got, but he thumbed his nose at the system and said, "I'm not guilty, prove it." And so he went to a jury trial. And because of that, once the judge heard all the evidence, Mr. Hampton got the sentence he got. So it's his fault that he has the number of years that he has. Finally, I'd point this out for you. In reviewing Mr. Hampton's case file, and again, I don't know exactly what you folks on the parole board review, but in reviewing Mr. Hampton's case file, I noticed that he was suspected of 4 similar armed robberies in Bossier Parish. I reached out to the case investigator that worked those yesterday, and the only reason Mr. Hampton wasn't arrested and prosecuted for 4 additional armed robberies is because he was prosecuted in Webster, and there was no point in arresting or prosecuting him again once he was in prison. Now, I'm not the kind of prosecutor that opposes everyone that requests a parole. I have sent letters on behalf of prisoners before because they have done things properly and they were not a danger to the public. I'm going to suggest to you folks on the parole board that Mr. Hampton is the type of man that is a danger to the public, and he's not young enough to have aged out of criminal activity yet. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. We have all the information that you stated. So we do a thorough evaluation of all the information. All right, Mr. Hampton, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
Yes, sir. First and foremost, I would like to deeply apologize to anyone that I've ever done harm to. My actions previously, they were uncalled for. They were immature. However, there's still no excuse because a person became a victim at the hands of myself. There's no excuse for my actions. I understand Mr. Hugo Hollins's position. I understand his point of view. But I'll just ask for the opportunity to be able to do what's necessary to go forward in the right direction and to prove not just myself, but to everyone else that I'm not the type of offender that people still seem to classify me as based off of prior history that I have. I'm humbly asking the board to seriously consider granting me parole, to give me this opportunity to do what I need to do and do the right thing.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your comments. Pam, fair to vote, Ms. Renata?
Mr. Hampton, I hear what you're saying. I'm concerned about what happened in 2021. You know, that to me is recent. You haven't quite yet demonstrated to me that you're willing to follow all the rules. I'm concerned about your history of revocation. I am very pleased to see your family's support. And I'm very pleased to see that you have a plan that's out of state. However, today, I think you need to show me a little more sustained period of your ability to follow the rules, stay out of trouble. You know, drug trafficking in prison is a pretty serious charge, as is cell phone. I think you're at a place now, once you get to be able to take advantage of program opportunities, go to work, come back when you're eligible to do so, maybe you'll have a different outcome. But for me today, my vote is to deny.
Mr. Roche?
Mr. Hampton, my vote is the same, for the same reasons as articulated by Ms. Renata.
All right, 2 votes to deny. I'm also going to vote to deny your parole for the same reasons. Say 3 votes to deny. Today, your parole's been denied. Good luck. It's 9:53. We'll adjourn at David Way. Thank you.